Hello, distance learners. Today we're reviewing both volume and surface area together. Okay, so that brings us back to these two kind of major questions that are being asked with volume and surface area. Okay, they're both asking how many blanks would it take to blank the figure. Okay, when we're talking volume, we're asking how many cubes, which means our units are going to be centimeters cubed or inches cubed or whatever the unit is cubed. Okay, would it take to fill the figure? So when we're seeing questions that talk about liquid being filled or how much wax would it take to create a candle, that would be volume questions. Surface area is asking how many squares would it take to cover the figure. So the units there would be like centimeters squared or units squared or whatever the unit is squared. So this would be like you're wrapping things, you're wrapping a candle. How much plastic would it take to create a water bottle? Those would be surface area type questions. All right. Now, if you look at the table here, there is some kind of overlap. We need everything in the table to make surface area, right? We need the perimeter, the height, and two areas of the bases. And remember, we changed that, the P and the B, into CH plus 2A. All right? But if you look at the volume uses part of the surface area table. So if in a problem I ask for both surface area and volume, I want you to think in your head which one would maybe be the better one to use first. If you said surface area, you are correct. Since surface area has both the height and the area of the base, we call that formula or area of the base times the height. If you find surface area first, you'll have both the area of the base and the height from that problem that you'll be able to use. So let's take a look here. The first thing is, how do you get the circumference? Well, we use our circumference formula. That's C equals pi times diameter. That means that what is needed is the diameter itself. Those are the only two things that you do not need in the volume. Okay. The next stuff that you need for both of them is the height. Remember, the height is the distance between the circles. The distance between the circles could be a vertical distance, it could be a horizontal distance, just depending on the orientation of your cylinder. The distance of the bases is just the height. Sometimes that's given, sometimes you have to do some calculation to figure it out, and you're going to see that today. The next is the area of the base. Well, the base is a circle, and so we use the area formula, pi times the radius squared. And remember, squared means you take radius times radius, okay? And so we need the radius. All right, there's your filled out table. Let's take a look at some examples. We have a cylinder here, and we are asked to find both the volume and the surface area of the cylinder. Thinking back to our previous table, remember the volume had stuff that the surface area already used. So when we're doing this problem, we're going to start with our surface area. We're going to change our surface area formula from pH plus 2b to CH plus 2a, because that's the circumference times the height, which is our rectangular part. That's not a rectangle. The rectangular part plus two bases. That's your two circles. So our list is R, D, H, C, and A. Now looking at our cylinder, 6 centimeters, that goes from the middle out to the edge. And so that there is the radius, 6 centimeters. So that means that the diameter would be 12 centimeters. The height is the distance here, the distance from the top to the bottom, so that is 10 centimeters. The circumference is found by the diameter times pi, 3.14. And 12 times 3.14 is 37.68. And circumference is a length. Remember, circumference is just the distance around there. That's 37.68. The area of the base is found by 6 squared. That's our radius squared times 3.14. That's not 6 times 2. That's 6 times 6. So that's 36 times 3.14. And that together equals 113.04. All right. Now surface area, we take C times H for the rectangle plus 2 times the area of the base, which is A. So the circumference was 37.68 times 10, which is our height, plus 2 times 113.04. Order of operations tells us to take 37.68 times 10. That's 376.8. Then we take 2 times 113.04, and that's 226.08. And add those two together, and we get 602.88 centimeters squared. All right. Now, volume. Remember, volume, our formula looks like B times H, but we can change it to A. Volume is the area of the base times the height. So for this problem, we really can look, our height is 10 centimeters, and the area of the base has not changed. It's still 113.04 centimeters squared. And so the radius, the diameter are still 6 and 12. Our height is 10. Our area is 113.04. And the volume is A. Area of the base times the height. 113.04 times 10. And that would be 1,130.4 centimeters cubed. All right. Let's take a look at the next two problems. The next two problems are both twofold. The first question to both of them is asking, is this person trying to find the volume or the surface area? And so we have to look back at those original two questions. Remember, volume is asking how many cubes does it take to fill the figure. And surface area is asking how many squares would it take to cover the figure. Okay, so if the question or the situation is talking about filling, that's volume. If the surface or the question is asking about covering, that will be surface area. So let's take a look. Melanie is going on a field trip. She wants to know how much aluminum foil she will need to cover her Dr. Pepper in order to keep it cold. Aluminum foil conducts heat, so it keeps the temperature that it's at. And so if you wrap aluminum foil around it and throw it in the fridge, it will stay colder for longer than if you just took the pop out or whatever beverage, like a LaCroix, that you are using. So we're trying to cover. Covering is talking surface area. How do we know? Because of the word cover. All right. Now let's take a look at the problem. It says the height of the can is 12.5 centimeters. So that is 12.5 centimeters. It says the distance across the top is 6.5 centimeters. So the distance across the top is 6.5 centimeters. The distance across the entire top, that is the diameter. So in our list, 6.5 will be our diameter. The height will be 12.5 centimeters. The radius will be half of 6.5, so that's 3.25 centimeters. the circumference will be 6.5 times 3.14. When you multiply that out, you get 20.41. For the area, we have to take the radius, 3.25, square it, then multiply that by 3.14. Now, when you do that in your calculator, and go ahead and if you have not done so, you're going to get a really long decimal, okay? Since we have to do some math with that number, don't round until the end of the problem, okay? So you're doing 33.16625 centimeters squared. Yes, keep all of those on until the end of the problem. Now let's find the surface area. Surface area is the circumference times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. The circumference is 20.41. The height was 12.5 plus 2 times this really long number, 33.1625. Now do them two separately and we get 255.125. Don't round that until the end of the problem. And this is going to be 66.3325. Add those two together and you get 321.4575. Now we round. We're rounding to the hundredth because pi is rounded to the hundredth. And this final answer will be 321.46 centimeters squared. All right. Moving on to the next one. It says, after drinking her Dr. Pepper, or some of her Dr. Pepper, Melanie is wondering how much pop she drank. Is this asking volume or surface area? How do we know? The liquid that's inside is the volume. And so this is a volume problem because it's talking about liquid inside. So everything is the same except for the height. The height says that she drank some of the pop. After she took a big gulp, the pop was 3 centimeters from the top. How much did she drink? So the height that we are finding is going to be 3 centimeters. Okay? And the area is still going to be that long 33.16625. The diameter is still 6.5 centimeters. This is centimeters squared. And this radius is still 3.25 centimeters. To find volume, we go, and we take 33.16625 and we multiply that by 3. 33.16625 multiplied by 3, and we get 99.49875, which would round to 50, or just 0.5 centimeters cubed. And that's that.